Good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to the long-awaited Semifinal 2 for the Big C Invitational Season 2. Got some great competitors here in Oski P and Team Garf, better known as Oscar and Justin. Oscar, a returner. Returner to the semifinals. I believe was knocked out in the semifinals by Jagon in the Season 1, so looking to move on to the finals for the first time. Justin, also a newcomer to this spot, or would be a newcomer to the finals, as it is his first season. So looks good, though. It's very strong. He's definitely one of the players to beat. Him and Jack coming in as definitely front runners in the playoffs. Oscar just took down Billy in a great set. So we'll see if he can keep the momentum rolling. Let's go. And starting off, you have the Gardevoir lead into a Machamp. Great lead for Oscar. I don't know if second kill. I believe second kills. Possibly reading the switch. Intimidate going off early doesn't really matter. Wouldn't happen on the Metagross. Anyways, Gyarados. Ooh, just not want to taking that rock slide. Good damage on the Metagross, but probably going to switch out here. Amistar is the switch on the agility. Let's Amistar quick here. Is to it killed by Earthquake, but Surf will do a decent amount. Spikes is what comes down. Opting for a little Spikes action, protecting to get some chip heal. Might bring it out of Earthquake range to get one last Surf in. Earthquake will not bring it down just yet. And a second layer of Spikes. Second layer of Spikes usually not that impactful. Protecting, maybe just stalling PP. First layer does 12%. Second layer of Spikes only does an additional 6%. So, Oscar is bringing in the Claydol, though. Claydol an okay insert, not very long term. Earthquake will take out Metagross, though. And Oscar has a few Pokemon that are not super healthy, but does have two Spikes on the field. JC does 16%. Actually, he's only doing an extra 4%. You see, so yeah, the second layer of Spikes really doesn't really change that much. It's that third layer that really is super impactful. Tyranitar coming in, bringing in the Sand, making that Spikes chip permanent. Gyarados coming in on the Melodic. If it's a rest, Gyarados, it can kind of sit in the face of Melodic. Not sure what it has, though. Will live another Surf, but can't really do too much back to Melodic. Yeah, we see the rest right here. Nice. Toxic misses, but would not have mattered. And are we going to see a Sleep Talk or just rest 3 attacks? Gyarados. Magneton is in. Gyarados burns a Sleep turn. Probably going to switch out here, but what does Oscar have? Claydol is in on the Toxic. Earthquake seems like a really great click here. No resists. Endure. Going to live the Earthquake. Activate Salic Barrier most likely. And Magneton will outspeed. I think the HP Grass might kill from here. I'm not sure. Protecting. Definitely no reason to protect there. You just bring yourself probably into kill range. Unless he just wants to know for sure what he's going for. Regice a great switch into Magneton. Even Thunderbolt won't do that much. Missing Toxic anyways. Magneton is down. And Oscar is off to a really great start against Team Garf. But Champ comes in for free though against Regice. Cross Chop, definitely threatening a kill. You're going to switch in Gyarados or Gardevoir. Or maybe the Omastar just to sack it. There we see it. Probably switching in Gardevoir here to threaten it out. None of these Pokemon really want to come in on this Gardevoir Psychic, so definitely a threatening chance here. Oscar might just be able to trade slowly down. Psychic. Crit, killing the Moltres. I don't know if that crit mattered, but... Wow, Tauros does threaten the Gardevoir. Does have Protect. Maybe just got something up. Opting to let the Gardevoir die. I don't know if that's a great move. I think you want Gardevoir in to always threaten the Machamp. Tyranitar is in. Do we see a Dragon Dance? Dragon Dance could possibly end this here. Earthquake. Not going to do too much to Melodic. Possibly expecting the Machamp switch in. Rock Slide. A flinch here could seal it. Doesn't get it off. You can kind of just keep rolling for the flinches though. Dragon Dance on the recover. Only going to be doing probably 45%. Really just need one flinch though. Going to switch out. Doesn't want to roll it. Opts to play it safe. Gyarados is going to burn a turn of sleep here. Invites in the Tauros. This Tauros can only come in a few more times. But does Oscar have a good switch in? Did not bring Regirock this game, so going to let Gyarados die just to deal with the Tauros. But that might have been the best way to deal with Melodic. Tyranitar is back in. And this Machamp is looking really scary. If Oscar didn't drop that Gardevoir, he'd be in a really great place here. But without Gardevoir, I don't know how he gets through Machamp. Beyond some shenanigans. Claydol might outspeed with Psychic or Boom, but not the spot you want to be in. Does Regice even 2-hit KO with Thunderbolt? Not quite. With Sandstorm, maybe, but with the Toxic down, you don't want to be there. The crit will do it. Crit or maybe Paralysis. Full para. Regice, we know Oscar likes this Rest set, often Sleep Talk. Bolt Beam and Sleep Talk, so opting to hit it. And we see him burn these sleep turns. Using Sleep Talk, rolling the Ice Beam. I don't even know if it's worth using Sleep Talk here. Because you're not really doing anything to the Melodic. You really need to hit Subsequent. Thunderbolts. Ooh. Yeah, it turned out to be a sleeper match. Trying to just wear through these Melodic Thunderbolts here, or recovers here. Notably, there is more recover PP than Thunderbolt, which seems crazy for how strong of a move recover is. That's one thing I think is... Ooh, and we see the crit. Melodic will be able to heal back up this turn, though. It will not be in range. But Oscar is going to be able to roll this quite often. Melodic slowly out healing the Thunderbolt damage, but one Paralysis or one more crit should do it. Going for the Ice Beam, looking for the Freeze instead. That's one thing that I really like about Modern Gen, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Modern Gen games, is that they changed most healing moves to only have 8 PP, which I think is way more balanced than the 32 for recover. I don't even know how much soft build has. I mean, 16? I know Synthesis has, I think, 8, and it is dependent on the weather. Which is kind of a cool mechanic, but recover, kind of a boring move, if you ask me. Very, very powerful. Makes Melodic just this big sit there Pokemon. It's just running this Regice out of Thunderbolts. Never runs out of Toxics, though. Oh, man. It will go down. I'm a little under the weather today. I've been a little sick recently. So, hanging out, watching some nice Pokemon action. Ooh, Machamp comes in. On a turn that Oscar opted not to use Sleep Talk. So, Oscar will have burned a 1 turn of sleep here. Claydol comes in. And Cross Trap will just take out Claydol. I think he might have, even without the crit, taken it out. What does Oscar have that can take out Machamp? Does he need Cross Trap to miss? Maybe Hidden Power Flying? I don't know if Hidden Power Flying takes it out. And Earthquake does not do it. Hidden Power Flying maybe would have done it there. I don't think it would have really done... well, about 1.5 times the damage, so maybe 60. Could have been a roll. But either way, that Machamp seemed a little too unanswered on Oscar's side. Dropping down Gardevoir early to the Tauros. Not really what you want to see with that Machamp looming in the back. Move on to game 2. Let's see what adjustments he makes. Lead with Metagross into the Amistar. Amistar can take what Metagross does fairly well. Only 2 KO'd by Earthquake. We see another Spike come down. There we go. The spikes were quite impactful for Oscar last game, but possibly does not want to let Amistar die just for 2 spikes. And we've seen this before. Justin reading the Protect quite easily, and thus Metagross becomes very hard to answer. Opting for the second spike, likes the second spike over the Metagross damage. Possibly has a good answer. Protect just to get a little bit of chip healing back. And Claydol is in. Justin reads it. Same line as last game, but misses the Meteor Mash. Misses the second Meteor Mash. Earthquake doing over half. That's a strong Claydol. Third Meteor Mash missing. And Metagross is down. That's the thing about Meta, is it's such a powerful Pokemon, but Meteor Mash, you can just kind of miss everything. Toxic down on the Moltres. Yeah, Mash, it's such a hard move to switch into, but you do run the risk of just missing. See a Claydol. Protect. No. Oscar loves to protect while getting chipped down. Regice is in, and we've seen this before. Might need to speed this game up if it's a Regice versus Melodic again. Sleeper moves. Machamp is in. On the Ice Beam. Machamp freeze. Do you want to risk with Regice here? Ice Beam does kill, but if he wakes up, Cross Chop kills. It's a 20% chance. Almost start switching in. Smart move. Don't want to risk the Regice. Does it kill it while it's frozen? Goes for a third spike, maybe getting a little bit greedy. We saw how much trouble this Machamp gave Oscar last game. Getting a little bit lucky here. Surf not taking out Machamp. One more turn that Machamp has to thaw out. Protecting. Did he predict that it was going to thaw out that turn? If so, what a crazy predict. Switching in Gyarados. Oscar in the chat says, I'm different. That is different for sure. Gyarados going to threaten out this Machamp. Or just kill it with Hidden Power Flying. Possibly could have used that turn to Dragon Dance if he ran it. That would have been scary. Could have ended the game right there, possibly. Doesn't want to risk the crit, though. Tyranitar is in. Do we see an Earthquake? Yes. Read the Tyranitar switch nicely. Tauros. Bring in Magneton. Those triple spikes doing a lot. Oscar running Protect on almost everything. Pretty great move against a known choice band user like Tauros, but without leftovers. Almastar's in. And now this is an interesting development. You don't see an Almastar switching into Magneton very often. Trying to get just a little 2 more turns of leftovers. And Almastar goes down. Yeah, I don't know really what Almastar's doing there. Gardevoir is in, tracing Magnet Pull. Maybe could have done that without sacrificing Almastar. Fire Punch. Ooh, Magneton's faster. It goes down though. That's a famous Gardevoir set where you trace the Magneton, substitute, and then stack up Calm Minds and sweep. But doesn't want to go for that return. And there's no normal resist here. Do we see maybe a Claydol in? No, Gyarados is the switch in. Gyarados is quite troublesome for Justin's team to deal with. Tauros, though, does half even after Intimidate. Gyarados will go down. What can live one? Can Claydol live one? I could live one return. Claydol is kind of bulky. Will be able to revenge kill Tauros, I think. Looking just to sand chip it enough. Needs to get it down though. Claydol does live. And we see Moltres, or Moltres is in. Will kill with Flamethrower for sure. Protecting, stalling out a Toxic turn. Nice move. Getting another Protect. Wow. Really getting a lot of extra Toxic chip down here on this Moltres. Do we see a third Protect? No. Doesn't go for it. Crit for good measure, 2%. Gardevoir is in. Gardevoir should be able to live one Flamethrower. And Psychic will definitely kill from this range. Oh, and Melodic is the switch in. Can Melodic take... Ooh, Thunderbolt. Great move. Covers both. You don't need the Psychic to kill Moltres, and Thunderbolt hits Melodic a lot better. And great move from Oscar there. Psychic takes out Melodic. Will Moltres be able to KO it though? It is faster than Gardevoir. Yes, it will, but Regice, I believe Regice should live one. Regice should live one from this HP, bearing a crit. Oscar's hoping for not a crit in order to stay alive. Overheat. Only 78%. Must have been a roll. And Oscar lives. Wow, that was a close game. Living on 4% after the overheat. Moving on. Game 3. Ooh, and the Gyarados lead, actually. Will-O-Wisp missing. Do we see Hidden Power Rock? No, we do not. Hidden Power Flying is the move. And we know Oscar likes this rest Gyarados, so not too concerned about being burned, but still doesn't like it. Look at that damage cut. We're doing 19% to this Moltres. Ooh. The Tyranitar coming in. Interesting nickname. Also does not want to be burned, but appears to be Lumberry. Do we see a Dragon Dance? Missing the Rock Slide. Hard for Tyranitar to do a ton to this Melodic here. You need a bunch of Dragon Dances to really threaten it. And Oscar Season 2 MVP coming in, Regice. I would definitely agree with that. Red Jace has been such a core part of Oscar's team. Ice Beam. Still doing 24%. And no spikes yet this game. Gyarados is in. Not the best answer when it's burned to this Agility Metagross. Earthquake will not do too much to it. Rock Slide. We know he carries Rock Slide. We see Earthquake doing only 24%. Wouldn't have killed anyways, even if it was burned. And it goes down. What is Oscar's? We see the Claydol come back in. There we go. That's been his answer. Do we see switch out to Moltres? Protecting just to make sure. Claydol has been a pretty solid answer for Oscar. And now we see the switch on the Earthquake. You know, visually, I've always loved Claydol. I thought it was a fun Pokemon. Really goofy looking. Trading Toxics. Both Pokemon can carry Refresh. Though I don't think Oscar likes running Refresh Claydol. Or, sorry, Claydol. Let me see. Justin's other physical attacker coming in. Definitely not the one you want Regice in on. Claydol is the switch into Machamp. Now that Gyarados is down, crit from Cross Chop. Claydol is faster. Switching out to Magneton. On the Protect. Oscar really likes just protecting here, just trying to read what he does first. But he's losing so much HP when he does that. Oscar definitely on the back foot, and the rock is in. It's not a boulder. It's a rock, and it takes out the Magneton. Regirock. Best cry in Pokemon. From the anime. Regice is back in. Maybe could have ripped a boom there. That would have been fun. So Oscar wants to keep it safe here. Machamp is back in, and both of Oscar's switch-ins to this Machamp are dead. Gardevoir is in, but can it take Cross Chop? Cross Chop's so scary to come in on because if that was a crit, Gardevoir is down. Psychic does take out Machamp though, so immediate threat is gone. This Tauros though, high likelihood at Earthquakes. Earthquake doesn't really have any resists here. Protects just the Scout. Good idea. And what does Oscar do here? None of his Pokemon want to come on this Earthquake. Only one that lives is... I mean, Regirock should live one Earthquake. Thing's bulky, but it dies to the second one. Possibly lives and explodes. Or uses Counter. Not quite, though. Doesn't get the lucky damage roll. Tyranitar is in, maybe with a Dragon Dance. We see a Protect. We already know what he's clicking. And you don't have leftovers. Is this a Dragon Dance? Earthquake, Rock Slide. Protect Tyranitar? It is. Probably. And it looks like this Tauros is just going to take out Oscar here. Regice living one and taking out the Tauros, but doesn't have enough left. Maybe if Regirock or Tyranitar were still alive, but for now it's just the Gardevoir against the world. If it has enough speed, it could do it. Well, Fire Punch here, maybe. Does Fire Punch kill? It does. And we know this carries Thunderbolt. I don't think it can cut through Melodic in time, but it is close. 2 Thunderbolts should do it. We see 1 Thunderbolt. Missed Toxic. Surf. And we know Moltres has speed, so that should be game. Melodic will go down here. And then Flamethrower should take out the Gardevoir. And do we see it? Protect. On the Flamethrower. Doing what he can to win. Maybe stalling out the inevitable, but can't blame him at this point. And overall, a great set. GG's to Justin. Congratulations for moving on to the finals in his first ever season. Thank you for participating, Oscar. It was great to watch you play. It was cool to watch the team develop into this cool Sandstorm team with the Reggie Bros. Hopefully we'll see Oscar again in future Big C Invitationals. But stay tuned as Justin takes on Jack. Catch you guys later.